Hello, welcome to today's video. We are on Unit 11. Play Piano Now, Alfred's Book 1. This is the last and final unit of this book. In Unit 11, on page 132, we are discussing a new interval besides reviewing the second, the third, the fourth, or the fifth. The new interval is the sixth, when we skip 4 white keys. 2, 3, 4, from C to A. And this interval here, C to A, would be most common in the F chord hand position. Okay, so as you can see, that is the sixth right there. Get to know that interval both on the keyboard with the shape of your hand and have that muscle memory squared away. Also get to know it on the staff, whether for treble clef, bass clef, as a harmonic or melodic interval. On page 133, there is a technique warm-up of playing fifth to sixth for both hands. Get used to playing them and hold those positions. Be comfortable. Let's review Lavender's Blue. I would recommend that you write the chord symbol above, whether C, F, yeah, it looks like it's pretty much just C and F. Whether it's C or F, to know where to place your hands in position, whether it's C or F. Okay, so let's go ahead and play through this as a demonstration. 1, 2, 3. And as you notice there was a decrescendo, ritardando, along with pedal for the last two measures. Moving on to page 134, this is a written exercise of not only identifying the intervals, but also writing them from the perspective of either the C or the A. Make sure you know how to write them. Remember, when we have a sixth, we go from a line to a space, or a space to a line. On page 135, Kumbaya, a new time signature. 2/4 time means 2 beats to each measure, and the quarter note still gets the beat. So we see here that we have changing time signatures. It's not always going to be the 4/4 time. It's going to change from 4/4 time to 2/4 time. So that's going to change every measure, from 2 to 4 to 2 to 4. And it's going to be like that from the beginning to the very end. You may want to practice clapping the rhythm and counting just to get used to this. And I believe just going through the first system will be sufficient for that. Let's go ahead and just clap and count the rhythm for the right hand, getting used to that counting. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Also, because of how the melody is shaped in the right hand as opposed to the left, you may want to practice hands separately for Kumbaya here. Notice that the melody in the right hand is legato and the left hand is non-legato. Now that's going to be very tricky to do because you have multiple voices in the right hand while the left hand is non-legato. So as we already know, that's how we play repeated legato, while the left hand will be non-legato. If you'd like, and this is perfectly fine to do, you don't have to play legato at all for those sections in the right hand where you're playing two voices and two voices for each hand. But for those that are just single notes, go ahead and play those legato as usual. But if it is too difficult, you can just play it non-legato. Perfectly fine. In my demonstration, I will be demonstrating repeated legato, which I highly encourage, but it is up to you. So here is a demonstration of Kumbaya. 1, 2. You may have noticed there on measure number 11 there was a little bit of a slip up. And one thing I also want to encourage you to do when you have the multiple voices, for example, on measures 3 and 4, or on measures 10, on measures 11 and 12, it is possible for you to legato the top note there, going from 5 to 4. That would make it an easier legato, as you can see, instead of going from 5 to 5. So if you were to do this way, it would require that you do lift a little bit the bottom voice, but it's perfectly fine because what we really want to hear is the melody, and that's the top note. And that applies also to measures 11 and 12. Okay, so let's go ahead now to the next page. We have here on page 136, matching, written assignment away from the keyboard. Match the intervals that are written as note names to the actual notes written on the staff. So it's a match game. On page 137, we have two little tunes here. One is called London Bridge, and then we have Michael row the boat ashore. So as we can see, we are going to be sharing responsibilities for this one here because of the sixth interval. But the reason why I'm talking about sharing responsibilities is we actually will be placing the right hand in D position. But when I say share responsibilities, the right hand finger number 1 is also going to play C, but not until the very end of London Bridge. It will mostly be in D position, and so notice that your fingerings will now be different. You are used to playing in C position. You now need to get used to playing in this D position. So you need to read the notes for what they are on the staff. So I would recommend that you maybe clap and say the note name as you get to know this. Maybe even clap and say the finger number if you want to as well. Okay? But hand separately, definitely, when playing London Bridge. The left hand, you will always be in C position, but your left hand will also be moving down to B. To play the G7, I would encourage you also to write in the chord symbols above. Okay? After having practiced those hands separately, clapped and said the note name, clapped and said the finger number, played hands separately, let's go ahead and put them together. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. So there is that time where the right hand thumb comes down to C again. Okay, so remember, we're not always going to be in C position for our music. We've always been so used to doing it in this book or in G position, but you now need to get to know notes or playing notes with fingering based on the note itself and not just a hand position. Yes, hand positions are important, but let's all remember, we have 88 keys to play on a keyboard if we have a full keyboard. We have to be able to prepare to play any one of them. Okay, let's go now to Michael row the boat ashore. Notice that this one is kind of in a D position again, but this time we are not playing any Ds, so the thumb will be right there, while the rest of the hand will be in a D position. So this is kind of a hybrid hand position, while the left hand is still in C position. Notice here that you have somewhat of a repetition of rhythms or notes a little bit. So I would highly encourage you to practice one hand at a time before putting them together at the ends of each system. We have a pickup bar of 2 beats. Let's go ahead and listen to what this one sounds like. Ready? 1, 2. So, very nice piece. And that's all we will do for this first part. We will see you in the next video.